this game. This is huge importance for the derby perspective for both teams, but I think it's bigger for Spurs. I think it's more important on a derby perspective for them. I think Arsenal wanting to win this for the title rather than to say they beat Spurs, where for Spurs' point of view, I think they want to say they beat Arsenal.
How do you see the game going then? Where are we leaning on this one?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna go with the form and say Arsenal 2-1.
Chelsea needing to snap this streak. They welcome Crystal Palace to Stamford Bridge in another London derby on Sunday. How do you see them faring there against Patrick Vieira's side?
Again, it wouldn't surprise me if they win. But I think now there's a kind of atmosphere there that is tense. If I'm Patrick Vieira and Crystal Palace, I'm going there for the first 60 minutes not to lose. And then there's pressure on because Chelsea have to win. And then all of a sudden, people start making mistakes and stuff. And you're seeing it now. You're seeing like a few errors and stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if they win. I'm going to go with my heart and say Palace win. But as bad as form as they're in, I'm going to say Palace 2-1. But if I'm realistic, I think Chelsea don't lose 4 games in a row. I don't care who's the manager, what injuries they've got. Like losing 4 league games is a big thing for Chelsea.
Okay, well, we'll whiz through the rest of the Premier League action this weekend. A brilliant weekend, as we've touched on. Starts tonight with Aston Villa at home to Leeds. Unai Emery's made a real impact at Villa, but they did have that sort of shocking FA Cup loss to Stevenage where he was quite critical of his players. Do you think they'll have too much for Leeds at home?
Not too much. Could they win? Yeah, they could win, but this is like kind of a toss of a coin with the inconsistencies and form of both teams. I'm going to go Villa. I'm going to go, and this just because they're at home. I think I would go Leeds if they were at home. So I'm going to say Villa win this 2-0. And again, solely based on them being at home.
And we kick off on Saturday with the Manchester derby. You've already gone for a Man City win in that one. So yeah, we have Brighton versus Liverpool. Obviously, this was Roberto De Zerbi's first game in charge. They put in an impressive performance and then suffered a real rocky patch. But in recent weeks, it's been a really much more impressive Brighton side. And they don't really have a lot to lose here against a Liverpool team who, as you say, have been inconsistent in recent times.
Yeah, definitely. They'll be optimistic about this game. Because again, I think Brighton are good against teams that play to win. And Liverpool are vulnerable against them teams as well. I think if you're more conservative against Liverpool, then they tend to dominate and score and win. But I think if you genuinely get at them, especially at this moment, there's an opportunity there to score goals. And again, they're still quite reliant on Salah to score. So fairly even game. Liverpool would still be favourites because it's Liverpool, but I'm going to say 2-2.
We talk about some brilliant games at the top of the table this weekend, but might be no bigger game than Everton at home to Southampton. 2 sides who desperately need a win. Southampton have looked doomed in recent weeks, but then that morale-boosting cup victory against Man City sends them to Goodison Park in good spirits. How do you see it going?
Oh yeah, I see, and I'm solely heart here, and a slightly headbutt heart more. I'm going to go Everton, and it's an important one for both teams. I think the Evertonians now will make this a cauldron, that is pretty intense when they do that. So I think that'll be the deciding factor to the outcome of the game. I hope that's the case as well for Frank, because as much as the fans are against the board rather than him, you just don't know what the outcome will be if they lose.
Scoreline on that one?
I'm going to say 2-0 Everton.
More rivals collide. Nottingham Forest host Leicester at 3:00. Forest making a good go of life in the Premier League, and Leicester, another disappointing performance from them last time out against Newcastle.
Yeah, it's strange how really inconsistent Leicester are. Again, they've lost players, and yeah, I didn't expect them to be as good as last season due to the players they've lost. But some of the performances are just really surprised me. So this one, I'm gonna go Forest. I'm gonna go home win. Obviously, Derby. I think Forest beat them last year. Was it in the FA Cup? So I'm gonna say Forest win 2-1.
Last 3:00 sees Wolves host West Ham. Wolves been on the end of a couple of perhaps unfortunate decisions in recent times. Julian Lopetegui's had a lot to say in recent days. They host West Ham here. The Hammers still down at the bottom of the table. You know, both teams will view this as a winnable game.
Yeah, definitely. Probably more so Wolves. I think, like you said, they've been unlucky, where West Ham have probably been more poor than unlucky. The decisions at the Liverpool game for Wolves, honestly, I just don't get it. I just don't get how it hasn't been a kind of bigger uproar. I think if that was one of the top teams, there's more being said. There's no way VAR should be allowed to say they didn't have the angle. Like it shouldn't even be used, should it? If you should know you have the angle or don't before the game, and if you don't, there's no angles that you have. There's no way you can use it for anything. Where if you're just being selective in what you use it for when you know it doesn't work, I don't understand it. I don't understand how they've got away with that. So, yeah, pretty poor that from VAR from all perspective. But I still believe they win this game because I still see enough from them that they're playing well. They're obviously understanding what the manager wants, and against a team in equally as bad form and confidence, I see them winning. So I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves.
The last game on Saturday evening is Brentford hosting Bournemouth. Could potentially see goals in this one. Brentford have been in good form, but Bournemouth, you know, as much as they're struggling for results, they've held their own at times, haven't they?
Yeah. Again, it's just strange how he kind of got the job, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like changed the results where there's probably nothing changed. No other part of his kind of management style or approach has changed, barring the title of his job. But yeah, I'm going to go for Brentford. Momentum's with them. They're playing well. So I'm going to say 3-2 Brentford. I'm going to say.
3 games on Sunday, but we've already touched on Chelsea's hosting Crystal Palace and the North London derby. So that leaves us with Newcastle versus Fulham. 2 sides enjoying brilliant seasons, both high on confidence. Fulham having beaten Chelsea on Thursday, and Newcastle pushing for a top 4 spot. A great game.
Oh, very good game. Newcastle exciting to watch. The atmosphere there is what I remember it being when I played. And probably better than that now because there's real hope and expectation. But realistic, I still think it's quite realistic for what they can achieve. So yeah, I think it'll be a good game, but at home, Newcastle. I don't know why. Like I just believe the fans will get them over the line, especially the way they're playing, confidence they play with at home. So I'm gonna say 2. Is Mitrovic playing? Is he back? Don't know.
Not sure. He didn't play last night, did he?
Yeah, I know. So I'll go 2-0 if he's not playing, 2-1 if he is.